people that kind of have practical wisdom, but yet sort of, caring wisdom, and then they, expressing these little truths that people take very seriously, and they can have this ripple down effect. Maybe.
Yeah, it almost just sounds like maybe a more evolved form of celebrity, sort of, except it's like like instead of becoming a celebrity because of like various train wrecks that you've accumulated in your life, then it's like we're saying, oh, you were successful and intelligent and bright and caring, so I want you to have some celebrity power. Here's some mind shares, like you have a successful holistic business or whatever. Here's some celebrity points for you. I'd like you to become more charismatic. Right? Like,
well, that's kind of what I was thinking of a little bit, but yeah, like what it is to me is instead of having those Justin Biebers, which I'm not pronouncing his name right, but that really, to me, I don't want to be rude, but like, they're not very deep characters, right?
They're not useful.
So I mean, it's a way of promoting, those sort of really profound beings in whatever way that they have become profound in.
So yeah, I guess it just seems like these would be ways of actually giving everyone power to give other people power, sort of, to get behind our leaders in whatever various ways. Like it almost seems like it could snowball. Like my interactions within my local community could give me enough heart shares or mind shares to start interacting with a larger community, and then if I do well there, then it sounds like it's maybe what our current electoral process is somewhat supposed to be, or kind of does, but in a healthier, because when I'm trying to say all these ideas as I'm understanding them, it sounds very much like the ideal of our voting process. This is it's almost a voting process, but it's at the pace of the internet, sort of. Like I can vote for a barista, and if enough people do, just because they're nice, and then if enough people do that, then all of a sudden that person has some power.
Totally. Absolutely. Yes. And then it gives you like that's part of the reason why people don't want to be baristas, right? Like, nobody takes me seriously. I'm just a guy behind a counter making your coffees.
Right.
Right. But when you kind of have this like sense where like, okay, maybe I can really actually change some things as a barista. That's kind of cool. I can still make my coffees.
Right,
I like
right.
making the coffees, but yet I can affect some things.
So you can become political without being a politician.
That's the whole intention. I think the political structure as it is just kind of veers towards corruption through that sort of radical top-down nature, right? So.
Yeah. This is cool. It definitely has some like voids in it to where it needs some. Yeah, there's some mathematicians, there's some logic theories or whatever, but it's I could totally see this happening, especially like as if we can network in a healthy way that's not being like tracked by the government or something like that, so where you can use your phone or something like Facebook or something to track and accumulate all these heart share, mind shares things. Because in this process, I guess some people would see this as a downside in that everyone becomes a politician at this point. So everyone is networked and tracked in a certain way, and so if we're not absolutely sure that the things doing the tracking of the networking is beyond corruption or something, then that could have, I guess, privacy issues or something that would have to be fleshed out to what people are comfortable with.
Yeah, I think there's like bit coding and so forth that can get a little way in that process. Like, you can do really, like if you have sort of centralized hubs that are highly coded,
yeah,
and that part's more computer directed, it's more of a central hub of computer intelligence that does that process, and it kind of takes the person out of it to some extent. Maybe, it's one way of potentially.
Right. Yeah, this is cool. Like, it would be interesting if you could just put those limits in place so that you're mixing sort of the Venus Project idea with capitalism, with a very fluid voting system that seems to be multi-tiered, I guess, between the heart and the mind thing. But yeah, I guess we need to find somebody incredibly smart.
Well, that's what Brian, like, I really, the more I listen to what he has to say, despite the fact he's maybe not really outgoing as an individual, at least, but his mind is just so active, it seems. So
yeah, maybe I might get the thing where we can do like dual Skype conversations or something, and if people find this thing interesting, we could bring him on. Depending. We've been going for at least an hour here, so
cut her off.
Probably. I think we went through everything, and I answered. At least I got all of my questions in. We could do a follow-up if people are curious about it, seeing it fleshed out, because it does seem to be a bridging ground between people that think that the Venus Project is a little bit too non-competitive, utopian-esque, and somebody that obviously recognizes that our current type of competition is blatantly self-destructive or something.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'll edit. I'll try. I don't know if there's any parts that I really wanted to super edit out. So maybe I'll just cut it into chunks and throw it up there. And then are there? We should maybe link.
Yeah, can I run back? I just gotta head out for a sec there, Kurt.
Yeah, sure. I'll chill here. Bye. Bye.
Yeah.
It's good. We're still recording, so I could even put this up and people could have an explanation of why we are so inarticulate.
Yeah, dude. I can't speak right now. Yeah, sure. So if you're interested in economic theory, the best book that I know of, I've mentioned it a few times in my own blogosphere world, is Creature from Jekyll Island, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a rationalistic kind of look at it, but in a sense that's that to me is almost the best part of it, is that it's highly rational. You know, it doesn't go out into fairyland. It's, even though fairyland's nice, oftentimes, but it keeps it very much on the level from what I can tell, right? By that I mean it gives a lot of proof and a lot of documentation behind what's happening in that regard. As far as like videos go, I mean, Zeitgeist is pretty good. There was a little cartoon. I'll find it for you and give it to you, Kurt. That I found a pretty good.
Yeah, I think I know what you're. The one with the.
The guy that goes back.
Time traveling and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then, are there any resources that lay down like the most eloquent version of the Trialectic stuff out there?
Well, I'll give you. I've been working on a book, and I'm just about finished. And it kind of it's broken up into 3 sections, so it goes like what I kind of account for integral theory for the most part, at least my take on it, and then kind of go into the political realm, and then I'm trying to do work on the sort of trialectical model in the 3rd section, but I see it more as a collaborative effort, because as you can easily tell, it's not, all the parts aren't roughed out, so it would be, in my mind, the book itself would be kind of a co-creative process, even though I tried to rough out some basic ideas, but...
And what do you think would have to happen for this to be... I wonder if this is something that we could present to people associated with the Venus Project or something like that have clout and are thinking in this direction. Like, I wonder what would happen, or the steps that this would have to go through to get taken seriously. So it needs some ironing out.
Absolutely.
And then,
yeah,
and then it would need to be presented to somebody, and I guess I'm wondering who.
Well, you have some friends there in Seattle, that are into the Zeitgeist movement, or
Yeah, I'm actually about to run down there for the Z-Day thing.
sure.
Um, all right, cool. I think that might be a halfway entertaining video, so maybe it'll be fun.
Cool.
It's interesting, because it's like there's not. I don't think I've researched it much, but there's not very many. I haven't heard of anything that tries to bridge the gap between everyone just does what they're supposed to do because they are good people and where we are now. So, seems helpful.
Well, like Zeitgeist does go like some direction in that sense, right? Like it is, I think, a move in the right direction in that way. But it's because it still says, scientists, which are kind of really thinking people, have a lot more control in that sort of system. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
But yet it kind of has more of a, everybody can get what they want and what they need. So it has at least that part that I think is really strong in it.
Yeah, here's, you might want to watch these videos. Are you subscribed to Jericho Movie?
Jericho Movie? I don't think so, no.
He's been sort of critiquing the Venus Project. He's a pretty smart guy.
Sure.
And I think it looks like he's doing economic theory in general, so his ideas might actually give you some brainstorms to come up. If you can counter his critiques, then it would probably be a pretty sound economic theory. I just sent it to you over Skype.
Perfect. Okay. Got it.
Cool.
Got it.
Well, I am going to run and go down to the Z-Day thing.
Perfect. Have fun, man.
All right.
Cheers. Nice chatting with you. Okay.